Here's a summary on cellular respiration. It's what we've been talking about throughout Unit 4, and I'm just going to go over some of the main ideas and concepts to help you have something to use as a guide for studying. If you don't feel like going back and going through your notes and stuff like this might be a little bit of an easier way for you to review what we've talked about so far in this unit. This entire unit has been about cellular energy. And when we're talking about cellular energy, we're asking the big question, which is how does energy get transferred from the sun to a form that we can use? So that's your big question that you're trying to answer in this unit. Remember when we were talking about the sun, we said that the sun provides all of the energy for our planet. So all of the energy from our planet comes from the sun. So the energy that you're using to watch this video, the energy I used to make this video, came from the sun in one way or another. We know that we can't go outside and just get powered up from the sun. We know that the sun transfers its energy first to plants. And once that energy is transferred into a plant, then other organisms can eat those plants, and that's how they get the energy. So that's basically it. So even if you ate a burger or something for dinner or for lunch today, that burger came from a cow who ate the grass, who got its energy from the sun. So that's the main thing that I want you to walk away from here with. All of the energy from our planet comes from the sun, and what we're examining in this unit is how is that energy transferred. So how is the energy transferred from the sun to a form that we can use? The first step is photosynthesis. What we need in photosynthesis for it to occur is we need a plant and we need the sun's energy. Get to those things later. Looking closely at our plant. Looking inside of the plant cell, which we examined in chapter 3, you know that it's a little bit different from animal cells. It has a large central vacuole, the nucleus, the endoplasmic reticulum, a cell wall. But what makes plants very unique is their chloroplast. So this is a chloroplast. I zoomed in on it in my picture. This is the site of photosynthesis. So you have these stroma and these thylakoid membranes. They kind of look like stacks of quarters. This is where photosynthesis takes place in plants, the chloroplast. You also have the sun's energy. So that's our first step, having that sun energy go into the plant so it can be changed around into a form that we can use. The other ingredients for photosynthesis are carbon dioxide and water. So if you're taking care of a plant, you know that you have to water it, and they also absorb carbon dioxide. These are the reactants of this chemical formula. The carbon dioxide and the water are the reactants in photosynthesis. They react with each other to produce the products. The products of photosynthesis are glucose and oxygen. Now remember, glucose is our monosaccharide that we talked about in chapter 2. C6H12O6. It's always that 1:2 to 1 ratio. These are the products. The reactants react together in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll to produce glucose and oxygen. There's two parts of photosynthesis, your light-dependent reactions and your light-independent, or sometimes called the dark reactions. In your light-dependent reactions, they depend on the sunlight to produce ATP and NADPH. These two energy-rich molecules are created to drive the light-independent reactions to make that glucose. So there's photosynthesis. Once the energy comes from the sun through the plants and out as a product of photosynthesis, now it's stored in that plant and it's ready to be used by other living organisms. Other living organisms are going to tap into this energy through cellular respiration. Cellular respiration needs a living organism that has mitochondria. Okay, and all living things have mitochondria. Even if we look back at our plant cells, they have mitochondria too. Sometimes we call the mitochondria the mighty mitochondria because we know that it's how living organisms convert chemical energy into a form that it can use. So those products of photosynthesis created this energy-rich glucose molecule, and it's going to transfer it into the reactants of cellular respiration. So the products became the reactants. Glucose and oxygen are now the reactants for cellular respiration. They go into the mitochondria and are converted into carbon dioxide, water, and ATP. These are now the products of cellular respiration. These are going to cycle right back into being a reactant for photosynthesis. So cellular respiration and photosynthesis are cyclical process. They're transferring carbon and oxygen in a cycle to be reused over and over and over again. The product then of cellular respiration is ATP. This is your cellular energy. So how is energy transferred from the sun to a form that we can use? The sun feeds your plants and undergoes photosynthesis. The products of photosynthesis become the reactants in cellular respiration. Cellular respiration is going to produce ATP. It's adenosine triphosphate, which is an energy-rich molecule used to fuel your cells when they undergo mechanisms that need energy. If you think back to chapter 3, remember one of the mechanisms that your cells undergo that requires ATP is active transport. There's lots of others, but that's the one we talked about just 1 unit ago. Okay, so there is your quick summary of cellular energy, photosynthesis and cellular respiration, and I hope this helps and gave you something to look over to prepare yourself for the test.